Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to talk about one of the most overlooked and oftentimes forgotten pieces of maintenance you need to do, whether it's your rifle or your pistol, and that is going to be cleaning your magazines. Now, how much you're going to do this is going to be completely up to your usage. My hard use items, probably every month, maybe every couple months, but after each range trip, it's a good clean wipe down. Maybe blow them out with a compressor or a can of compressed air if you're in the house. Just don't look at it while you're doing it so you don't get anything in your eye. Always be safe, right? But you're gonna wanna clean and inspect these things regularly. And of course, use a good dry lubricant, never wet oil or wet lubricant. Now, if you are asking yourself, why would you clean your magazines? I'm glad you asked, because these are the feeding devices for your pistol or your rifle. If they're not clean and they get mucked up down in there with tons of carbon from years of use, or dust and dirt, whatever goes into your mag, if you're out there training hard or just having a lot of fun, especially in the competition world, they'll stop feeding rounds, and that's the end of your fun or your training for the range day until you can either borrow mags or clean the ones you have out. God forbid it's a defensive encounter, and then more than your fun might be over. So for that very reason, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to break down, clean, and appropriately dry lubricate your magazines. Now, we're not going to be able to go over every single style or manufacturer magazine here today, but most pistol magazines break down in a very similar fashion. And that's very much so with rifles as well. So we're going to go over a standard GI style mag, a polymer or P mag right here, and then just your typical Glock magazine. And this is going to cover the breakdown on just about most modern things out there. We're going to break down in a similar fashion. Well, let's go ahead and get started breaking these down, cleaning them up so you can have reliable feeding out of your mags. We're going to go ahead and get into cleaning these magazines. I'm sure there's a ton of different ways to do this. This is just the way that I do it and the tools that I use. Otis Dry Lube is my choice. I got this little tool right here, which is a punch and helps you break down your Glock magazines. Very helpful. Nylon brush and a standard microfiber towel. I try to stay away from using any chemical strippers, cleaners, anything like that on the magazines because they can be coagulants and cause dirt to attract to it. With that being said, let's go ahead, we'll break these down and then we'll do our actual cleaning. And we'll start with the PMag right here. So there's a couple different versions of these. They'll have different colors on the base plates. Very simple. You're gonna press that button in just like that, and you're gonna pull the base plate off the back. Put your fingers over it so the spring doesn't come flying out, and you're just gonna pull everything out. Okay, so I'll put this one back together for now, since this is not the one we're gonna use for cleaning. And it's just the exact opposite of how you took it apart. Make sure that that button goes all the way back in there, doesn't move. You're gonna be good to go. Go ahead and put that aside. Standard aluminum or even regular steel magazine like this, very, very easy. You're gonna have that hole on the bottom. You can use something like a punch, or you can get right here and use a flat screwdriver or something like that. Really depends on what you have laying around. These I know I can generally get off with a punch. So you just kind of lift up right there. So there's two little arms that catch and just pull straight forward. Just like that. So go ahead, put your finger over it again like this so the spring doesn't come flying out. And you kind of have to walk the spring back and forth, kind of like this. And then it'll come out all the way, and you pull straight out on the follower. And these are the anti-tilt followers. So if you've never seen one of those outside, what that means is it's got grooves on it so it can't tilt back and forth, up and down. Very, very easy to work with. To put it back together, just a reverse operation. Get that spring down in there just like that. Get your base plate. Send it through, and just before you get it about right there, just give a little downward pressure here with your thumb, kind of bend that plate back down, and you'll hear it kind of lock into place. So it should be about like that, pretty flush, and that's all you have to do with that. And when it comes to most pistol and Glock magazines, there's probably going to be a button on the bottom that you're going to have to depress and then pull the plate off the bottom. But this little tool makes it super easy because there's a little takedown tool in there. So you stick that in that nub, and it's kind of got that arm right there. You stick that in there, put this end against the magazine itself, and just pull, and it pretty much takes it apart for you. Again, cover it with your thumb, put the base plate to the side, take your magazine apart, and we'll go ahead and use this one to clean. Always remember that that nub, when you put it back together, is going to be facing down. What I like to start with is just wipe the whole thing down, right? Get up in the edges, get up in the mag release area, and at the same time you're cleaning this, you are inspecting it to make sure that there's no problems with it. Are there any big gouges in the magazine? Is it wearing thin? Is it starting to expand? Are you using a metal mag release in here that's starting to wear on this? Because they will over time. And then, you know, if you've got microfiber towels like this, you can run it up inside here and just kind of pull it out the end. You probably can't get it all the way through, right? But you can get it in there and clean everything out. You'll be able to look down in there and just see how clean it is, and that's really what you're looking for. So you're done with that, put that to the side. Do the same thing with the base plate, inspect it to make sure the plate's not messed up. It's pretty clean. Every part of it just gets a simple wipe down. When it comes to the spring, I like to go between the spring like this and just kind of rotate it around. You know, make sure you get all the dirt, the carbon, everything off of this thing so that you're good to go. Now these springs only go in one way. Okay, you'll see that this end is kind of fat and big, and you'll see that that end gets very, very small. So it's always tilted like that, and it only fits in there one way. Pretty easy, you just press it up in there, and it pops back into itself. Clean that follower off because this is what's feeding that next round in there. This is where your nylon brush comes in. Make sure you get in all of the crevices. Again, I don't use any cleaners on this, just everything will come off this polymer on its own. So once you feel that it's good and clean, this comes time to put the dry lube on the actual coils itself. Lay this down if you're working on a surface like wood or something like that. Otis dry lube, just a quick squirt here, nothing crazy, right? You don't need to spray it in the mag, you're just gonna give it a little squirt. One side, both sides. That is it. Nothing more than that. It's just not needed. I'm telling you, the stuff smells really good too, which is probably weird to say, but it does. So let this dry. It doesn't take very long, or if you live in a super dry climate, you can pretty much put it in there right away. Now remember the way that it feeds, right? The back of the round is here, the front of the round is here. Always put that in there, and the reason you can remember that is because fat end goes to fat end, usually like that. So you're gonna slide that back up in there, make sure that it fits up in there as it should and moves freely. Get the base plate. Again, they've made it real easy, flat end to flat end, right there. Oop. Drop the base plate. Get your base plate on there and slide it up over the nubs, click it into place. Again, make sure that that is in there. If it's not perfectly aligned, you can hit it like that, or you can push down and it'll pop back in there. I always like to make sure I'm feeding right, make sure it moves smoothly like that, and that's it. You're gonna be good to go. That's how quick it is to keep these things running and working the way they should. Well, that's really all there is to it. It's not a very in-depth procedure, and it's pretty easy. And that Otis stuff is actually really good for your buffer tube and your buffer spring as well. And quite honestly, it smells very good. I don't know why I think it smells good, but quite honestly, I wish they made air fresheners that smelled like that. Again, this is something I do every couple of months on my hard use items, or every month if it's really getting dirty out there. Light use items, you can go much, much longer between them. And if you're out there doing like hardcore, like mud trials or something with your guns, then you might want to clean them off right after you take a shower and clean yourself off. Well, that is what I have for you all today, and hopefully this helps you out, because a lot of times malfunctions that you're going to run into out there are caused by the feeding device, also known as the magazine. Could be that they're really dirty, could be a bad spring, or it could be the feed lips have finally given out on you. Either way, proper maintenance, lubrication is going to make these things last and run a lot longer and a lot better. Make sure you get subbed up down below, turn those notifications on, and leave me a comment on whether you clean your mags regularly or if you've never cleaned your magazines. Get out on the range, have some fun. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I will see you all on the next one.